What is up? Welcome to the NBA Rundown brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Astaire, joined today by Tyler Hicks. Tyler, feels pretty good to be betting the NBA this week if you are me. Had the Warriors last night. We the People was with me. He even took the alternate spreads, so that was nice. We both enjoyed a fairly easy victory, and we talked about it yesterday. But coming off those two elimination games, even though they won both of them by combined 70 points, it's still pretty taxing. And then you're playing a completely different style. And the last thing I want to say is let's give credit to Steve Kerr for attacking the rim the way that Phoenix should have been. But there's a difference, and there's a reason that his system is more able to do that. What does Phoenix love to do? They love to beat you off the dribble, right? And they got the guys to do it. Chris Paul's good off the dribble. Devin Booker's good off the dribble. What do the Warriors do? They run that motion offense, the read and react, right? The old school Arizona offense is supposedly outdated, yet he's still getting it to work, right? And they're running through all these guys through screens. They're cutting to the hoop. They're finding each other with passes. And Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber are simply not enough to stop them at the rim. The Warriors through three quarters, because that's when the game was decided. The Warriors were shooting 70% from the field. At the same time, the Mavericks were 27% from behind the arc, and that's where they were taking all their shots. So the series isn't over because if those shots go in, and we've seen that they can go in, and we can see that they can turn around, right? It's a completely different game. But the Mavericks are going to be so boom or bust, so high variance. That's why I think it's great, right? What we the people did. This is a boom or bust high variance team. When they're not going in, this team really doesn't have a chance against a well-oiled Golden State machine. What did you see?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much nailed everything on the head. I also think, remember how Ty Lue used to be when he would coach these playoff series? We'd see him kind of just throw away game one, use it as like a let me fill this team out and see what they're going to do and adjust from here game.
You think Jay Kidd's on it?
I think he's kind of on that same like kind of train of coaching. Like he did it in the
Wow.
Phoenix series. Now I could see some adjustments coming in game two. Now, mind you, he might not have the adjustments to stop this team after watching game one, but I think some adjustments are coming in game two. I think you hit on everything else, like pretty much dead on the head. They were a better matchup for Phoenix, and they're live or die by the three. So if the threes are falling, it's going to be hard to beat this team. But if they're not falling, you're probably getting blown out.
I mean, the major adjustment is just make your open shots, right?
Yep.
It's not like they were these contested shots and the Warriors completely schemed for them perfectly. I mean, the Bullock and DFS and these guys, they had the same looks they had against Phoenix. They just weren't falling. But like I said, we chalk that up to emotional and mental fatigue from playing both those games. I'm not saying they weren't up for it. I'm not blaming Luka having a beer on a Sunday. I'm just saying it's just tough to get up 3 games in a row here. So I loved the bet last night, but I can't wait to talk about tomorrow, right? And I'm glad that we have a little time to think about it because as much as I loved what I saw from the Warriors in game one, a little bit of those things go differently, and it's just a completely different game. I still love the Warriors at Chase Center, though. I mean, I almost feel like I just want to bet Golden State game 2 and then Dallas game 3.
I think they win game 2, but I don't know if they cover that 6 that's out there right now.
You think it's close? It feels like it's boom or bust again.
But I mean, if those threes are
it was
falling,
the same way in the Phoenix series, wasn't it? Wasn't every game just a blowout?
I mean, to a point, yeah. But I think like the adjustments are coming in game 2, and I'd be interested to see if Golden State's shooting keeps up because they were shooting pretty well last game too. Like as a team, they were just tearing them apart.
All right. All right. I get to be opposite against everybody tonight. I just got off a show. We were opposite. Tyler gave me the spoiler. We're going to be opposite again. All right.
Yeah, I got the wrong color on today.
Yeah, bumping some Tupac. I know I should be wearing that shirt. I don't really have a lot of red, though. I did like blue and black, just so that way, like you pretty much are always matching. I just stopped buying other colors, right? That way, if you don't pay attention like me, like you have like a 50% chance of not looking ridiculous. So, yeah, that's a little fashion tip for everyone out there. All right, let me jump into my reasons for liking the Miami Heat tonight, and then we'll let Tyler and the chat tell me why I'm absolutely wrong. So, of course, there's some advantages that the Celtics have, right? They got Marcus Smart back. We talked about it when we were reviewing game 1 yesterday, how easy it was for the Heat to hunt Peyton Pritchard, right? With Marcus Smart back, that shouldn't be there. It almost wouldn't be there at all, except for Derek White. Congratulations, having a baby. We'll miss the game, though. So there's still going to be those opportunities to attack the Pritchard minutes, but it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same amount, and it might not even be the starters. It might be Hero doing it, right? And not our guy Jimmy Butler, who's able to take advantage of that. So you'll have Smart back, you'll have Horford back. Why is Horford important? He's getting rid of those Tice minutes, and Tice is a fine player, and he's a great regular season player, and he's a nice emergency guy. But let's be honest, they didn't want to be in an emergency situation right off the bat, so they get Al Horford back. Supposedly he had absolutely no symptoms. He just tested. I don't think there should be any drop off like some of these guys, that came back and they were struggling, right? With their lungs. I don't think that's going to be an issue for Horford tonight at all. So pretty close to a full strength team here, right? Of course, Derek White was a huge pickup, but pretty close to full strength. I'm sure, if you're on the Celtics, right, Tyler, you much rather have Horford and Smart than White, right? So it's an upgrade.
100%.
It's an upgrade from the last game. So now the lines move back to where last game closed, which was -2.5. Opened at -1.5 last time, closed at 2.5. This one was all the way up to 4.5 until we got the news. And in fact, I'm saying that Smart's in, but he's still probable, isn't he, Tyler?
I think he'll play.
Yeah, so I'm handicapping this like he's playing, right? And then I guess if he's ruled out, then I get a little bit of a bonus. So anyways, we talked about it yesterday, what Miami was able to do. And I just expected, again, this series, there's going to be a lot on these role players. And I get that home court advantage. I get Strus draining him in. Gabe Vincent, who we took out of all our player pools, unfortunately, right, had a nice night here. So I like Miami to just continue doing what they're doing, right? It's just, to me, Boston had a great defense from January on. The Heat have had a great defense for like 4 years. So to me, they do their principles more. It's built into their culture a little bit more. I know that Jimmy Butler got at Jason Tatum last game, and I think that's great. And I think that that's how he wants it to be. Emotional, raucous series. I think he thrives in the chaos. I think he thrives with the anger, right? Like the bad guys in Star Wars, right? Thriving off that anger. That's what Jimmy Butler's doing. I still think Bam is a prime piece. I don't know if Robert Williams is 100%. He was cramping up last time, and I don't know if Marcus Smart will be 100%. Basically, Tyler, that's why I'm on Miami. I like the Heat here. Tell me why I'm wrong.
I mean, I gotta back the Celtics here off the loss. They're 10-1 since January after a loss. A couple of those in the playoffs.
Yep.
They're gonna come out with urgency here, and the lineup's gonna look a lot different from last game. Mind you, they dominated the first 2 quarters of that game last game. The only quarter they lost was the third quarter, and
39-14.
It buckled them in the entire game. So
yeah, you lose
there's
the
that
by
outlier of
points.
just that terrible shooting third quarter that kind of lost them this game. If they have a normal third quarter, we're probably having a different conversation right now. A lot closer of a game. They don't look like they get blown out in the end. And if you look at how they're going to line up this game, it's still going to be Tatum and Brown out there on the wings.
Okay.
They probably they probably take out Grant Williams and plug in Horford. Take out White and plug in Smart. Well, now on the other side, where are you placing guys like Gabe Vincent, Max Strus on that big ass lineup Boston sending out there? Because Butler, Tucker, and Adebayo can only guard one guy. You know what I mean?
Like just blitz everybody. I mean
it's
like there's not one.
Well, they're going to have to drop back into that zone they loved, and if Boston's shooting well, I think they're going to light that zone up. So
yeah, I just don't trust Boston to shoot well on the road. So we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna love Boston in Game 3, especially if I'm right tonight. Just like I'm gonna love Dallas in Game 3, especially if I'm right tomorrow. Spoiler alert. Okay, what else you got for us? Like, who are you looking for on the props in this Boston victory that you're predicting?
Yeah, I mean, of course you want to back Tatum in this spot. I would go right back to the Jaylen Brown rebounds because, I mean, he dives in there all the time. He had 10 rebounds last game. You could bet his double-double if you think he gets there again. Mm-hmm. If you wanted to go the route of Tatum's points, they're set at rated around 28.5. I don't hate that because he's going to get to the free throw line again. Robert Williams scored 18 points last game. His points prop 7.5. I'd gladly take the over there because he could easily just get put back, get a couple free throws, and get you up over that 7.5. And then you could even do his points plus rebounds. and that is set at 16.5. I think that's a bit low. 18-9 out of him last game. He is a little banged up, but I think he is still going to play a ton of minutes. And then looking at some of the performance doubles, I would go with maybe the Tatum 30+ in wins plus 290, the Horford 2+3s, because I think they sacrificed some shots to him still, is plus 330. I would take that. Marcus Smart 3+3s, Boston wins plus 320. And then Robert Williams 10+ points plus 390 would be some ways I'd come at this game.
All right. Say you're me. Help me out here. Let's say you like the Heat, right? You're me. You're Jonathan Nelson. You're us crazy California kids that want to bet on the other team that frolics in the sunshine. What were some performance doubles that you would think would hit if I'm right and Miami wins?
You could just go with the Butler 25+ points and Miami wins. He shot well last game, and he shot like almost 20 free throws. So he's going to really get you up over that 25. Strauss 12+ points, Miami wins. He could shoot well. 4+ rebounds on Strauss and win also. Both right around 2-1. He's been also rebounding the ball very well. Gabe Vincent 10+ points, Miami wins plus 205. Or if you want to back a guy like PJ Tucker and you think he hits a couple threes in the corner and can clean you up a layup, him to score 8+ points in Miami wins plus 265 would be some ways I'd go with that.
All right, I like those.
I wouldn't trust Bam at all in any of those.
And why is that, man? Bam's had some quiet playoffs overall. And
I don't know. Yeah,
it's under the rug because they're
is.
winning. When you win, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
You can get 10-4.
He's impacting the game a different way. He's playing more defense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying, and they're winning. So it's like you're not going to hear any criticisms, right, of a guy that's not putting up what we're expecting from him. But what do you make of that? I mean, obviously he did a lot on defense against Joel Embiid in the other game. Robert Williams, good player, great player. Obviously not the level of Embiid. I was going to expect a little more aggressiveness from Adebayo. Do you think that's a possible pivot that Spoelstra could use tonight?
What, using Adebayo more?
Yeah, trying to get him more involved.
I think if he does that, I think it bodes well for me.
Why
betting the Celtics, because I don't think he's playing well right now. I think if you're going to force the offense through someone else and take it away from Jimmy and Hero, it's going to screw this Miami offense up. So if he's going to do that, I'll gladly bet Boston tonight.
Okay. Yeah, I was just thinking it would be a great way to get Williams and Horford in foul trouble, and then I get right back to my little mini Grant Williams lineup, and give me some Daniel Tice minutes. I'm fine with that. And one interesting thing that you also touched on that I think that works for me is right. They're going to come out fired up. They're going to come out, doing some different things. But who's got the advantage at halftime? In my mind, it's still Spoelstra. I don't think that 39-14 was a coincidence. I don't think it was just, hey, we started making our shots. I think they saw what the Celtics were doing, and they went in and made adjustments. And I think that they are going to do the same thing tonight. It's almost like a football team, right? Running out of a certain formation. They're trying to set up the play action later. I think that Spoelstra's on that level when it comes to his coaching. Are you worried that my guy Spoelstra has a huge coaching advantage on these halftime adjustments? Or
I don't know if it's
overrating this.
I don't know if it's a huge advantage. I think he has the advantage.
Right.
I think Boston's coach is still very good. Like, I'm not going to say.
No, I think he's good too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
But Spoelstra is definitely like one of the top
Tomlin's
3 coaches
good. He's
in
not
the league.
Belichick.
Yeah, that's probably what it's like. Is something like that. That's what I would say. Yeah, he's got a little bit of an
Tomlin reference in there, and you didn't even bite at it. My guy Tomlin. I even went against him there, Tyler.
I'm trying to hold back the allergies over here. They're trying to kick my ass.
Oh, you got the allergy problems? I thought it was snowing out there or raining.
No, it's like 80 degrees here, spread.
Oh, May. Who was I talking to where it was raining? I don't know. I do shows with people all over the world. Yeah, man, it's like 90 degrees here. I had to start using the air conditioning again. It's getting hot in the valley, global warming here. Hopefully my betting account will continue to stay hot with the Miami Heat tonight. But of course you are against it. So I don't know. What else do we got? I know I'm not a weatherman. No. Yeah. That's so funny how the stuff that you don't plan ends up making the biggest impact, right? I can do an hour prep for the show and just me making an offhand remark.
It's like the best part.
All right, what else you got for us on this game, Tyler?
I mean, I think that's it. Like, what do you think about the total? I mean, still sitting around 206. They went way over it last game. Like, do
I
you
want to
think they
go
do it
over.
again?
I want to go over
Yeah, I agree. I would take the over there.
because strategically, I think it makes sense for both these teams to try and get out in transition. I
And
think
then
both these half court defenses are excellent. Why would you try and work in the half court when you can get in that little advantage?
they have these popular parlays on FanDuel. Like, you
Uh-huh.
click in the game, it says like any player to score 35 plus points plus 145. So that gives us Jimmy, Hero, Bam, Tatum,
I
Brown,
mean, let's
all
throw Bam out. Like, I mean, if
yeah,
Bam gets me 25, I'm happy, right?
yeah. So you get all the key guys there. Any player to score 40 plus, which is a little tougher, but I mean, we seen Jimmy do it last game is 6-1. Any
It's
player
6-1
scores
though. That's cool.
any player scores 6 plus threes is 2-1. I need better value than that.
Yeah,
Because I mean, there is a lot of shooters out there, but 6 is a lot.
Yeah, it is. Especially because neither of these coaches are just going to let the same guy beat them over and over again. They're not Budenholzer. They're like, go ahead, Horford.
And then these two are kind of interesting. 'Cause I have no stats backing them, but they seem pretty low. Jimmy Butler scores 6 plus points in every quarter, plus 420. Or Jason Tatum
I don't
scores
like that.
7 plus points in every quarter,
I
7
would
to
like
1.
Tatum way better. I would like Tatum way better. Here's my idea. After Butler scored 41, you assume they're going to make the adjustments, right? And actually, this goes into a prop that I like, and I forgot I meant to run it by you because it could get there even if you cash your bet. I like Butler over on PRA. My idea is that he's going to have a ton of usage. He's
Oh,
either
yeah, he always has a ton of usage.
they're with no Kyle Lowry. They're either going to single cover him. If they single cover him, right, I'm going to get my points, or they're going to double him, and I'm going to get there with assists and maybe even some rebounds. Because if he's getting double covered, he's going to have more incentive to drop back, grab the rebound, and take it himself there in transition. So I think I can get in there with defensive rebounds and either assists or points. I like Butler over 38.5 points, rebounds, and assists. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I'm seeing these guys in the chat talking about the game.
Go
Our
free
guy
throws.
Twatty's talking about Celtics and Heat will always be a ground out game. They're talking. Philly's talking about I like the
Yeah.
under 50 plus free throws in the game. And looking at this, both teams shot 30 plus free throws.
That's
I
a
can't
good
tell you
point.
how many times there's not many we've seen that in the playoffs. It's always one
But
team shoots
both
30.
these teams are physical too.
That is
I
true, but
think they
like
got to call them just to prevent like
I don't
Smart and
know. I
Butler
don't know
from
who's
just
assigned to this game yet.
wrestling.
So we might get a ref crew that's out there just like you guys can play a ball tonight. Like unless someone's like
Robert,
flat out attacked and thrown on the ground, we're not calling the
Robert, in the
foul.
chat, let us know what's our ref angles. I didn't get anything from you on the ref angles today, Robert.
I'm going to look now and see if I can find anything.
Here's a great question, and I'll let you start from our guy DJ. How big of an impact is Horford going to be?
I think he could be a pretty big impact.
I think
mean,
so too.
it's a different matchup than the Bucks, but I think he also throws a wrench in with the Heat do because he's another big that they start with Williams.
Right.
And now you can't use Tucker as much in the defense of Tatum and Brown because you can't use a guy like Strauss on a big guy because Horford even showed it last series. He'll post these little guys up and just back them down into the paint. And he's a good enough passer to where if he's backing them down and here comes Bam for the double team, he'll turn and pass it to the wide open guy. Now the ball's moving around. So I think he's going to have a nice impact.
All right. Robert hasn't looked at the ref trends. That's been one of his favorite trends.
I don't have the ref trends, but I do have
It's
the assignments.
Guthrie,
Yeah, there they are.
Goebel, and Kennedy. Thank you, Fila. Those are the three refs for tonight. I think Goebel lives in Miami because I saw Boston Celtics Twitter complaining about that. Now that you put that up there, I don't think about the refs as much, and I probably should, but it's just I don't know. Call me naive, right?
It's funny that we just kind of throw
game.
out the whole ref thing in the regular season, and then come playoffs, it's like you got to pin this down every game.
You know what's funny? The only time I like it in the regular season is for totals because you just know who calls more fouls. So that's going to make me play it over, right? I mean, that's the only time I really use it during the regular season. If I really like a total, because I don't play totals that often, so I will check it then.
Yeah, I don't see much. Like people usually comment on these ref assignments. I don't see much saying.
Well, those aren't big names either, right?
No, I see one guy saying two of the best officials in the game have been assigned. Of course, the Suns never had the privilege of a Guthrie Kennedy game, so salty Suns fan there. And then another guy says having Bill Kennedy flashbacks, but he really only hates Doc Rivers, so hopefully we're good. So that might be bad for the Boston side.
All right, Tyler. Well, we got to bring in some reinforcements from your side. I think he's going to be with you, but we'll find out now. JSU, I took the heat. Tyler's on the Celtics. I have a feeling you're going to be with your
Jesus,
home guys.
shocker over here as I'm running to get my fifth coffee, and I was like, oh fuck, spread. My spread.
Maybe like bouncing off
I was
the walls.
supposed to go on with spread over here, and yeah, I needed a fifth coffee after the last couple days have been getting to me a little bit, but that's when you get re-energized and you're ready to go. And I couldn't miss my time with Spread and Tyler this week because I wanted to ask Spread how he's doing. Was he mourning Tyler for like a couple of days after Milwaukee, Boston? I mean,
oh yeah,
might be some sore people in the chat too. I mean, I was getting told I didn't know basketball, JSU. Like all this stuff. Like, where are those people at? I want to know. I want the receipts.
Where's our professor at?
Yeah,
where's our professor at?
Might be in trouble
give
here.
Give me those receipts. I want them. I want them right now.
Oh man, yeah, and yeah. If you missed it, I did my share of sulking and moping around.
I was on with Title, and he said that you might have been more upset than he was.
I think I was because I came on these shows and all the other shows I do and all the chats I'm in, and it was like, it wasn't even like the money. It's like, whatever, I put 1 unit on it. Same thing I bet on everything. But I'm like waking up and I'm like, I do not want to go on these shows today and have to tell everybody they were right.
Jake, you don't understand. My growth's been fucked for years, buddy. Yeah. I'm over that now. Me wishing I get 6 inches taller is gone. That was fucking 20 years ago. That's over and done with. You know what I mean? But what can you do? So, what are we talking about here?
Let's jump into tonight, and then
tonight,
we'll just go all over the place. But let's just start it off. I took Miami again, and I'm curious because I know you're high on the Celtics, but you're also higher on Jimmy Butler than I am, right? Like, I mean, you think he's the man. I'm betting on him tonight. I remember when I did the soliloquy about him, 3 months ago, not really down on Jimmy Butler. Now I'm team buckets all the way. Where are you on this game?
I mean, how can you not love Jimmy Butler? Anyone who
because I lost that bet and I was pissed.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, as a player, like I don't care which side you're on, Celtics or Heat. You gotta love the way that dude competes. He's just a competitor, ultra team. I don't know how he must just really have a certain way about him where if he doesn't fit, coaches and players, they could just easily get on his bad side where there's just tension. Because that's what it has to be, right? Like everywhere he goes, like teams just can't like figure it out with him. He finally gets on with the Heat where they're just like, okay, this is the way, we do things, and it kind of fits with Jimmy's style, and that's it. But like you heard his comments with Embiid after that series where he's like, man, I love him. Like, I love this guy. Like, I wish I was here or like, I wish I was still playing with him. Like, I just don't understand how you can't like make it work with a guy like that. Like, I don't know. It's just, it boggles my mind.
A lot of these guys, and we'll use Ben Simmons as an example because he's easy to run down, but I'm sure this is half the NBA. From the time they are 11 years old, they've been told they're the greatest thing to ever walk the earth. They got grown men trying to get around them to be a part of this eventual windfall when they get drafted. I don't think they're used to people actually pushing them, right? Because even in high school or AAU, they can switch coaches if the coach gets too hard on them. And I think that they're just not used to it. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm just used to being told that I'm great 24/7. And now you're telling me the truth and I'm really uncomfortable with it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just crazy to me that it's like that. But you get to this series, and I was interested. So you're on the Heat, right, for the series, correct, Spread?
I haven't bet for the series yet. My original idea.
Oh, come on! Who are you on for the series? Give me the.
I'll take Miami. But 2 days ago, I was planning on jumping back in from Boston.
Oh,
now he's playing. Now he's playing both sides.
You were planning on jumping on the Celtics 2 days ago. What changed?
If they went down at 2-0, I was going to grab them at whatever the number is.
Oh, okay. So you were waiting for a good number. You were hoping they lost.
I'll be honest. Yeah, I can't wait to see what you saw out there. I think that Miami's got a lot of advantages here, especially when it comes to like depth and coaching ability.
Interesting. So you don't think that the Celtics losing 2 of their key pieces in depth hurt them last game?
No, it obviously did.
Well, yeah, I'm just asking you. You know
Yeah,
what
of
I
course
mean? You're
it did.
telling me Miami. Okay, well, you're telling me that Miami's depth is better than Boston's, and I'm gonna.
But
I'm
it's
gonna
better
argue
even
that
when they're at
fact.
full strength.
Yeah, I disagree. I
Okay.
very much disagree there. The overall talent, even if you want to make the case that Jimmy Butler's played outside of maybe Luka the best in the playoffs, you might be able to make that case actually that he's been the second best player in the playoffs. You can make that case, but even if you sit, well, that's why Luka, Giannis. Okay. Second,
third.
I'll tell you right now, Jimmy played amazing against Philly. I don't know. He played unbelievable. I mean, they made him do everything, and he did it. But okay, whatever. Second or third, talent wise, who's the next best guy? And don't even give me Bam Adebayo right now.
How is he not?
Dude, I'm just telling you right now. Don't give me him over Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum.
I'm not. No, I'm not.
That's my point, though. Okay, so that's my point. So then Bam comes in fourth. But like Al Horford has played really good in the playoffs. He's like right there with Bam, in my opinion. Just the way they've been playing in the playoffs. I'm not saying talent spread. You're thinking talent. I'm saying how they've played in the playoffs.
Yeah. But I also say the matchups gave Horford a great chance to excel, where Bam's been being
where he had to cover Giannis.
And he got a wide open shot on offense for every single play because
he had to play defense on every defensive possession. And I'll tell you this.
Right, but Bam had to go against Embiid. That's just as hard.
Bam had to go against Embiid. He was broken down Embiid. He wasn't full strength Embiid battling with them for every single game. Bam, how many games did Embiid not play in that series?
2. He missed 2 of them.
2. And they won those games, right?
Yeah, Miami won with ease.
Yeah, okay. And so he got 2 games off without Embiid, and then he got a few games with Embiid broken down. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, come on, let's be real here.
I love the 5 coffees. We got to do this before every show.
The 5 coffees. I probably got coffee stain everywhere, just like dripping down me right now. I should just drink a little more, but no. So, okay. So we'll call this a wash, but I could say that Al Horford's played better than Bam in this playoffs, and I don't think it's that crazy.
I would concede that, but I'd also say that if Bam were to
where was Bam last game spread? I'm just saying. I know they won.
We talked about this before you came on.
I know they won, but like they didn't win because of Bam. Bam was hiding somewhere. Jimmy was the one carrying Bam on his shoulders. Jimmy's like the friggin' all-American athlete carrying the dude up a mountain, pulling him up, hanging from the cliff, and he's pulling him. Don't worry, I got you in this third quarter, Bam. I'll pull you up the cliff myself. Like Bam's just hanging for dear life. Like, help me, Jimmy. Pull me along. Like Jimmy did everything. And I'll tell you another thing. They're not going to be able to pull that bullshit where Jimmy's just cheating off of his guy when Al Horford and Marcus Smart are in that game. You can't tell me
that was the Buck strategy. It didn't work, but I
don't think it'll work because it's going to lead to open shots for those guys. You know what I'm saying? Where like you're a little more comfortable when Neesmith's out there, even Pritchard, like to an extent because he's shorter. You can recover a little faster.
You get more than 10 minutes a game.
I'm just saying though, the only reason why you say that is because of defense.
Because he can't defend.
I know, and Jimmy's gonna hunt him. I understand that, but take all that aside. With Smart and Horford back, it gives 2 better defensive options for Boston. Exactly. And I don't know if you guys brought this up yet, but PJ Tucker was guarding Tatum for a good amount of time. Well, now if Robert Williams and Bam and PJ, who's guarding Al Horford if PJ's on Tatum? Like they can't, you know what I mean? So for some of that game, they're going to have to change things up. So Jimmy goes to Tatum, maybe, who plays Jaylen Brown if PJ goes to Al Horford. So the defensive, strategy kind of changes a little bit for the Heat for some of the game. I'm just saying.
I still think you got a guy that was a national champion in 2007. I think you're content to let him beat you. And if he does, he does. But
we the people, he came out of hiding and got a few blocks. My bad. He had one move, by the way. I still remember this. Do you remember that like 2-point move where he just like took one dribble into the paint, turned around and like kind of faded away mid-range jump shot. And the announcers were like, oh my God, look at the athleticism of Bam. That was amazing. Like,
well, first of all, these announcers are terrible at
guy.
JSU. These announcers are terrible. They make me want the league pass announcers.
They were blowing him after one move. I'm like, the dude hasn't shown anything all game.
I mean, that's national announcers for you, though, right?
It's just like amazing.
They're more about telling the story than
that
talking
surgery
the game.
mid-season.
Who?
I don't think he has been. Since Bam got that surgery mid-season, I don't think he's been the same.
Yeah. I mean, Bam's still like very like he's still important to the team. I'm not trying to make that case. I'm just saying like the dude hasn't like dominated a game for them.
Oh no, that's for sure. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, don't go there. I can point out games where Jaylen Brown's taken over. I can point out games where Jason Tatum's taken. I can point out games where Al Horford has taken over.
Yep,
on both sides, defense and offense. So like, don't give me like he's way better than these guys. You know what I mean? I can point out games where Marcus Smart took over like that. I'm saying the Celtics have legit 4 dudes where I can point on offense and defense at times where they've legit taken over and helped win games. The Heat don't have that. They got one dude and then a bunch of other guys way below them.
Do everything perfectly.
That do everything the right way.
They employ better strategies.
Yeah.
And they don't make mistakes, and you can.
What happened in that first half spread? Do you just think it was a mistake the way they were guarding Tatum, not kind of helping?
I think that Tatum's so good that when he's on, there's nothing you can do.
I don't think that. I think that they thought they could handle guarding him without any help, without just one-on-one, and they realized after that first half immediately.
Was it a rope-a-dope? Was it Ali? Did he just sit there on the ropes and let Tatum punch himself out so he was tired out? I mean, he scored, 21 in the first half?
Or they just came off a series where they man-to-man James Harden and they looked at the next superstar and said, maybe we could do it with him too. And then they realized.
I'll tell you right now, I think the Celtics are stubborn. I don't think they're going to help on Jimmy. They didn't help on Giannis spread. Why would they help on Jimmy?
That's a great point. That's a great
I'm just saying, there's no fucking way they're going to help on Jimmy.
19. Like there's games where he does not shoot.
Pull up the Philly game logs, Tyler. Tell me his shooting numbers because they were pretty damn good. Like he was pretty good.
Oh man, this is so much fun for me, dude. Just hear you come on and go against Jimmy and the Heat. I mean,
I'm just saying, like. I want to be told that I don't know basketball again, though.
No,
like
because you're making great points. And this isn't. I didn't take money out of my mortgage to make an extra bet here. It's a 1-unit play for me, right? It's just who I like. And I mean, I'll be honest. I was more shocked losing that last series and losing these bets. So
were you that shocked that Boston beat Milwaukee? Was that like the most shocking thing? Was that more shocking than Dallas beating Phoenix? Honestly, spread.
Yes.
Wow.
I think you're crazy.
I think that's insane.
Okay, let me be crazy then. But first of all, I
just
historically
think that's
bad shooting. What they have because what?
Wait a second though. So you're telling me that more people thought Dallas in your mind?
No, you're telling me. I said me. I said me. What am I more surprised by?
Okay, so you just thought Milwaukee was by far the best team.
Yeah, and I didn't think they would shoot whatever they shot. I mean, would they have 12 points from 3 on like 27 attempts? I mean, it's a make or miss league, and if they don't
I told you though, if Boston plays Giannis straight up, they're gonna make those other guys make hard shots.
Yeah, and
you know
what
I'm saying?
Them.
They're not giving them. They're not giving them easy shots. That's the same thing with the Celtics and the Heat. I think both these teams in ways are going to play one-on-one against these guys because they don't want those others getting easy looks. They don't want the Al Horfords, the Max Struss, even the Smarts. They don't want easy looks. You know what I mean? They want everything to be somewhat contested, challenged, good rotations. That's where these teams kind of butt heads because they play similarly. But what I saw defensively was Spo made an adjustment where they were always helping on Tatum. Whenever Tatum had the ball at the top of the key, I don't care who it was, whether it was Jimmy, whoever that wing defender off the ball was, they had their eyes on Tatum. Like not even who they were defending. They were literally ball hawking whenever Tatum threw a pass. they were waiting, and right when he would throw, they would jump it. I don't know if you remember, but Jimmy got 2 steals.
2 to 3 steals in a row. Yeah.
And then he got
3.
another one probably like 2 possessions later. He got 3 steals in like 5 or 6 possessions. And 2 of them were on Tatum. And it was literally just Tatum throwing it to someone who had his back to the basket, catching to face up. I can't remember who it was. And he just picked it. You know what I mean? He just picked it and ran off. And it's like, they're just literally ball hawking you. So you got to do other things. You can't just keep doing it. And they made the adjustments. The Celtics didn't know what to do. Tatum was clearly frustrated. And then Jimmy made that really tough shot in the corner. I don't know if you guys remember that too.
Yeah. That was when I knew I won. That was when I knew I won. I said, if he's hitting those, cash it.
Tatum played perfect defense on it. And he's normally the one making that difficult shot where it makes defenders like drop their arms in disgust because they know they played it, perfectly and it still went in. And when I saw Tatum drop his arms, I was like, that's it.
And that's where I'll give credit to We the People because we like to go back and forth. When you play offense that well, it's true. Defense doesn't matter because that was a perfectly defended play, and he was still able to make it. I got a tough question for you, though. I got to put you on the spot, JSU. You don't get off easy today. Hopefully you're listening while you're answering all the great questions at your house. But who will be the best player on the floor tonight? Jimmy Butler or Jason Tatum? Because I'm going with buckets.
Of course you're going with buckets. You're going with the Heat. You better pray fucking Jimmy Buckets is the best player on the floor.
I don't think it's asking for much. It's not like asking God to give me a dragon and a unicorn.
Incoming Jaylen Brown game.
Well, I was disgusted with how Jaylen Brown. Did you guys notice that Jaylen Brown didn't get one? Like, it felt like he didn't get one like real easy bucket. He might have got like one layup, but it was
there towards the end. But it felt like the game was already out of hand at that point.
Do you remember they were like fading to the side, coming off screens? He was fading away. He wasn't like still like.
Yeah.
He didn't. To me, it felt like everything he got was challenged or tough type of shots that he just degree of difficulty was high, and he still made some of them. But I'm just saying, I thought he would be able to like get easier looks. Like that mid-range, you know what I mean? I thought he could get into that mid-range, especially with all the attention on Tatum, and be able to do some things in the mid-range. And I don't know, he just didn't really look that good. And
it's a great defensive team. There's no weaknesses.
Don't forget, too, Fred, a lot of those points were in the fourth quarter. He was having a bad game.
Oh, he was having a terrible game because I rostered him. I had captained him like half the slot.
So did I. Yeah.
Of course, because I watched the show. And we took Gabe Vincent out of the player pool, and I'm just like, oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I took him out too. So
yeah, I was just listening to you, and I watched the final countdown, and JSU says, I'm taking on my player pool, and I go, out of mine too. So, but hey, it works like that sometimes. But yeah, Jaylen Brown didn't have a good game, but I think you got to give credit to Miami because let's say you're dribbling down, right? When Peyton Pritchard's on the court, that's who I want to target, right? I know who I'm going after. Who are you going after on this Heat defense? Like, who are you targeting in the pick and roll?
I mean, I would target Max Struss. Like,
that's still not an easy target.
You're gonna have to force them to put two bigs on the floor.
I don't know. I don't think it's that bad of a matchup. And I honestly think that Max Struss is like very key to their offense. It's kind of like in ways how, even though he's better than Danny Green now, but he was like, when Danny Green went out with that injury, I was like, oh, Philly's fucked because they had no spacing. Exactly. They literally had no spacing. It had less to do about how talented.
And it's just a guy that won't mess up his assignment. Yeah, he never looks like, and his teammates like, huh? Like, where were you? Like, he's always where he's supposed to be.
He's like a key. If I was the Celtics, I would target his ass and try and get him into foul trouble because I think he hit some big threes at the end of that game too. When the Celtics, they banged the three like 3 times in a row, and the Heat friggin' matched them every time at the end of that game. I don't know if you remember, Udoka was about to pull the starters, and then Pritchard bangs that 3 and puts it to 7. And I'm like, what are you doing? There's still like a minute 50 left or something like that in the game. It's a 10-point game. What are you doing? You don't pull the starters it's a 10-point game. And then they just, they kept matching the Celtics. But my point alone was Struss just hit some big threes where it's just like tough to they're tough to guard when he's coming around screens like that, and he's not stopping. He's literally just coming around. He's not even setting. He's just catching, turning, and just firing. The guy is key to that offense, in my opinion. Gabe Vincent, I don't know what they do with him. I don't really get him on the floor. I think
it's like Horford. You just say if he beats you, he beats you. But
yeah,
I mean, is Gabe Vincent going to have that great a game again? In fact, I mean, we want to give away too much, but if I tune into the final countdown today and you take him out of your player pool again today, I will not be be surprised. I
might take his ass out of the player pool. He pissed me off so bad.
His usage is, I mean, his ownership's going to be higher right after that last game. You know, what a great time to
I haven't looked at the pricing yet. Once I get off this show, I'm going to look at the pricing, but I would assume hopefully the price went up.
I'll pull a little bit up right now, but I got to ask you a question.
Mr. New to Town, aka Twatty Lottie. I am. He must not watch this show, or he must not watch the final countdown show. That's for sure, because I'm definitely a talker. That's why they have me on these shows, so I can talk. Look, luckily, I came on 23 minutes late, so Spread and Tyler got all their takes out, and then I got 20.
Wrap it up,
and I got 20 minutes by myself to have takes. So
and we love
that's the way it goes.
Yeah, it's like I got beat up by Tyler taking the heat. Now I get to get beat up by you. This is just great sparring. But to continue the boxing analogy, I would say that if they were boxers, right, these two coaches, Ime Udoka's got a nice jab, he's got a nice right hand, and a good left hook. I'd say Spoelstra knows all the combinations. So when it comes to making adjustments, I just think that no matter what Udoka counters with, I think Spoelstra is going to be ready. And I don't, like I said before, I don't think that 39-14 at halftime was a coincidence. Do I expect 25 points again tonight? No, but I do think that there's that huge advantage coming out of halftime. And also, if it's a close game, I also like him designing the plays out of timeout. Although Udoka's been fantastic statistically. But
didn't we talk about this a while back about like the best coach in the NBA?
It was Udoka in the regular season, right?
Spoelstra was the best coach,
right? But statistically, the most points per possession out of timeouts for the last season was Udoka. It was
okay.
It was more
I'm just saying
than
overall, though. I don't know if you remember we had this conversation.
I think it was like Spoelstra, Nurse.
The dude is a genius. I wouldn't be shocked if he'd beat Udoka in a boxing fight, like an actual boxing. The man is feisty. Have you seen him get mad? He was about to fight Jimmy Butler that time. Yeah. I was gonna get my popcorn out. I was ready to see that fight. I mean, Jimmy versus Spo. Let me see it, man. I mean, I don't know if anyone's taking.
It was a handicap.
Jimmy,
Haslam was on Spo's team too. Let's go all around the horn.
Old ass would have got knocked out so fast. He would have been the first one. You would have seen those gray beard. They just be like,
hey, I got a gray beard too.
Floor. Yeah, well, man, you're not sitting on the bench picking on Jimmy Butler.
Hey, let's since we do this on this show, we just talk about everything. You talked about coaches. If
that hypothetical fight happened, I would gladly take Udoka and take all the wagers on.
Oh, he's a big dude.
Give me the guy. He's a 6'7" guy.
He played on the Kings.
6'1" guy.
Yeah, he was on our team. I didn't realize that. I was going through.
Another talented piece the Kings gave away.
Yeah, of course. That's what we do. The NBA's farm system. But speaking of coaching, man, I remember. I don't know if you were on the same train as me, but in our preview shows in the offseason, I absolutely lambasted the kid hire. I said it was a way downgrade from Carlisle. This guy's looking awesome. What have you thought of the way Jason Kidd's been coaching?
I mean, it's really impressive, especially when we saw him in Milwaukee. He looks like, you know, he's learned a lot maybe from that experience. I don't know. Luka and him too, like maybe that's another thing where he's got like a real connect. Like it would make sense for them to kind of have a real connection because Jason Kidd in his time, I'm not saying he's Luka, but like he could do a lot of the things that Luka, you know, Luka's just bigger. He's more talented, obviously, but they do similar things, right? Playmaker, rebounder he's not a small, but rebounder. Like they just did a lot of things that are similar. I think he can relate with Luka a little bit too. But yeah, I didn't think he was going to be this good right off the bat. Like year 1, 2 spread, like getting that team. And then the Porzingis trade, I think, is the biggest thing. Well, where are all the Porzingis lovers? I know that trade.
I don't think there's
pissed you
any
off.
left. There's like 3 left.
Oh, no, spread. When that
They're-
trade happened, they were all like, what the we got Spencer Dinwiddie? Come on. You
It was
remember
addition
this.
by subtraction. Who likes
Oh,
Porzingis
no.
anymore?
You remember people were upset with this trade. Tyler's
I don't
nodding his head.
remember.
Tyler,
Was
take
there-
your
was
ass off
people
of
upset?
mute
Who was
and back me
upset?
up here because I know you
I
know
did
what I'm
see
talking
people on
about.
Twitter saying they basically threw him away for a bag of chips.
Was
but-
it John 8444248? Was it anyone that actually knows anything?
No, I
Nope.
mean I don't follow John 422.
Okay,
and
maybe
it was
maybe
not
it was
any-
our guy,
it
Mr.
was-
Newtown. He loves him.
I love
He might be
Zinger.
the only one. Is he even talking about Porzingis or some sort of candy I've never
He's
heard?
talking about the Hostess Zingers.
All right, well, JSU, you've had a lot of coffee. I'm ready to fire you up. I'm ready for some more hot takes here. You missed it,
Yeah.
as well as me, lamenting my Bucks loss and not being able to hear any more Giannis press conferences and just watching him do everything on the court. I got to celebrate because the Phoenix Suns were eliminated, and I'm ready to say right now, I think that your generation overrates Chris Paul. I think that Jason Kidd was a better point guard than Chris Paul. Do you agree with me?
I'm a little biased because I was a big Jason Kidd fan growing up.
Dude, he was so good.
He was so good. I think Chris Paul is a better scorer than J Kidd was.
Mhm.
I think J Kidd though playing
Better defender,
point guard,
better passer,
Yeah,
better basketball.
I think you could give him a lot of those. So yeah, I don't.
Okay, I
don't
thought I
think
was going
it's
to fire you up with that
No,
one.
that wouldn't fire me up. You get Tony on, that'll fire him up, I think. But
Oh, we forgot to needle Tony to get him to come on today.
just throw that tweet out, spread Kidder. Paul.
All right, hey, but remind me, I'll schedule it for next Thursday, like an hour before we go on. So he's demanding the link for me.
Yeah, anything about Jokic, Chris Paul? I don't know. He might be really down on Chris Paul too after he hurt his feelings like 4 slates in a row.
I know, because I kept telling you guys, and I'm just like, oh, there's my ice cube. There's my ice cube.
I learned my lesson by Game 7. I was like, Tony, don't play his ass. He's
it's like he's not going to do
He
anything.
wasn't 100% either, but I mean,
Something
at the same
was
time,
wrong.
he's 37 years old. Like, what do you expect?
Yeah, I was a big Jason Kidd fan though. I love the way he played.
Just when people are saying he's like
Big
top
fan.
3, I'm like, no, he's not. He's not even top 5 in my mind.
Well, I'd say there's only one spot
As a
left to go
point
around.
guard,
As a point guard.
I think I'd put him top 3.
Who's
Okay.
round 2?
I think it's
No
I
way.
think you're biased with what you just saw. I think you're throwing a little.
So
bit
I
of
didn't see him
bias.
lose in the conference semifinals for the last 10
No,
years.
but I think it's making you a little biased on your take for
No,
this.
I've never thought he was as
award.
good. When has he ever been the best point guard in the NBA in his whole career?
Well, I mean,
He never has been. So how is he
that
top
ye-
3 point guard of all
Wait a second,
time?
though. That year when he got hurt with the Rockets, when they, in my opinion, would have won if he didn't get hurt, and that's it. You're telling me he wasn't the best point guard in the league
No,
that
Steph
year?
Curry was better than him.
Oh no, Steph Curry's a scorer. He's not even a point guard. He's a shooting guard. Like, well, let's not even get into this debate because he's a shooting guard. He's not a point guard.
Why does he say
on.
point guard? Why does he say point guard?
Draymond's the point guard of Golden State. Draymond Green is the point guard of Golden
power
State.
forward.
No, he's the point guard.
Right now, I can't put Draymond Green in the point guard spot.
He's a
I could put
point
Steph in there.
forward. Draymond is a point forward. Seriously. Okay, Tyler, the way Draymond Green handles the ball at the top of the key, you're telling me that how he initiates the offense, you wouldn't put him in point guard status?
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, point forward. That's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
man.
understand. How many guards have we seen where
So then who was
others
the point
handle the
guard?
ball?
Who was the point guard in 2015 when they won? Draymond Green? He
Mhm.
didn't dribble the ball up the court the whole time. Steph did.
Yeah, but he initiated the offense.
That
Steph's running around
initiating the
screens
offense
and
doesn't mean you're the point guard.
it's the point guard position.
Like Michael
Come on.
Jordan initiated the offense, but he wasn't the point guard.
Oh, he's the shooting guard.
Right.
But again, though, Michael Jordan. Let's be honest, though. Michael Jordan. Who were his point guards?
Ron Harper was
John Paxton, Steve
Yeah.
Kerr.
so shooting guards that
Well,
were
see-
point guards. So Michael Jordan might actually fit as point guard in this
Well,
scenario.
he
that I'm
didn't
talking
take the
about.
ball off the court until it mattered. He usually didn't. He usually involved in off ball action. So
Okay.
I got
so
the
wait,
chat
so
fired up. I'm happy
we
about
the
this.
people. That's the craziest take I ever heard JSU say. CP3 top 3. That's the craziest take, really?
I mean, I guess if you're taking all these great point guards out of there, then he can be top 3.
Well, no. So really, I haven't said anything that's crazier than CP3's a top 3 point
Dude, your
guard
takes
ever.
are usually pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying though.
Like, when have you come out here and said like ridiculous stuff? Like, usually you come on here, give out a bunch of DFS
Well,
winners, give out a bunch of winning
it's not
bets.
like I'm not like Stephen A. Smith, just bloviating shit out of my ass, or like
Yeah.
Skip Bayless or all those guys who just trying to get likes and clicks. But I don't know. Like, is CP3 top 3 that crazy? Is that like crazy?
To me, it is.
Just from what we've seen the last 2 years, really? We're just forgetting about all he's done? No.
What has he done? He's never
What
been
do
the
you
best
mean,
point
what
guard
has
in the
he
league.
done?
He loses in the semifinals every single time.
Oh God! All right, so now finals are just everything, right?
No,
like if you don't win
no.
the championship, you can't be one of the best players at your position. So
No,
you're
but
telling
there's
me
just
if
players
Luka
that are better than
Doncic,
him.
if Luka Doncic
So is
never
Luka a
wins a
point guard?
finals,
Is Luka
well,
a
yes.
point guard?
Oh, 100%.
But like I think top 3 is a little high because like you just look at some of these names, it's like Magic Johnson. All right, there's one
Okay,
spot
so
gone right
you're
there.
giving me Magic right off the bat, right?
Yeah, so
Because
all
there's
right,
not.
now we're down to 2
Yeah.
spots already.
Okay.
Yep.
Are we throwing away these old guys like Oscar Robinson?
I don't think we should.
Like,
I mean,
that's the thing. Like
this
now
is
we're
so hard though because they played in an era where it's just so different. The skill nowadays is so much higher. And,
yeah, but
and
the
maybe,
physical toughness and the strategy back then was so much higher too. The guys didn't even miss games back then.
here's another
dudes
one.
couldn't
I
even
think
dribble with their left hand.
That was
I mean, Bob Cousy's running around like literally can only dribble with one hand, and people love Bob Cousy. It's like,
so
dude,
if I said I put Jerry West over Chris Paul, you would say I'm wrong, even though Jerry West made the finals like 9 times and is
Yes.
the logo of the league.
What about Steve Nash?
That's another guy I'm a big fan.
I'm taking
so
Steve Nash
this
over
is
Steve
Tyler. So we grew up with like Nash and Kidd and all those guys. CP3 was like starting to come up, right? For sure. But it was first those 2 guys. So like me as an actual point guard playing, like those were the 2 guys I looked at. Allen Iverson was my favorite player, but I looked at him not as a point guard. He was a shooting
guard.
But
Eric Snow or whatever his name was. JT, what was his name? Eric Snow was the point guard.
Eric Snow was the point guard of that team. Aaron McKee sometimes dribbled the ball up a little bit. My point was, though, he was the scorer of the team, right? Whereas J. Kidd and Steve Nash, they were like
They were the
everything.
general of the team. They ran the team.
Yeah, they ran it. That to me, and so when I look at CP3 and where he's played, he is a general, right? That he ran all those teams. So I put him in that boat. So if you want to say, Magic Johnson's 1, I got no problem with Magic being 1. That's fine. But after that, the skill in which Chris Paul, Steve Nash, and J. Kidd had, I mean, I'm putting them ahead of Oscar just because of that.
So they're ahead of Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, God, Isaiah.
No, you can't put him ahead of Isaiah Thomas. There's no way. And I'll get huge pushback for this. I'm putting John Stockton ahead of him.
Yeah, no, I'm pushing back on the John Stockton one.
That's go ahead. Sure. Let's hear why. Because he was on the dream team, and to me, the dream team is the best thing ever.
CP3, I'll tell you right now, CP3 would have made that damn team over him. CP3, if he played back then, he would have made these dudes look like fools. Same thing though with J. Kidd. Made people look like fools. Steve Nash for that couple. The only reason why I don't put Steve Nash near J. Kidd and CP is because he only did it for a few years too, in my opinion. Steve Nash was amazing, but he was amazing for that like really tight stretch. If you remember, he was like good, but like he was amazing for a short stretch. CP3's done it for a long time, right? Spread. When did he come out? It was the same year as LeBron, right?
No, it's 2005, I think.
the next year or the year after. I can't remember.
Yeah, 2005
No,
or
wasn't 03?
2006.
No,
Oh,
no.
LeBron, Melo, Wade came out in Bosch, and then the next year I think Dwight Howard came out, and then I think CP3 came
No,
out.
Okay.
Howard's after that, I think.
Okay, but so CP3's played for like a long time. Like he's been really good for a long time. So are we counting being really good for a long sample? Because all
if that's the
LeBron
case,
lovers,
then Stockton's got to be on there because he's
yeah,
got the
but
most assists
his
ever.
skill is better than Stockton. His skill as a full guard was better than Stockton. Even if you think that Stockton was a better passer.
But,
What do you mean? What do you?
I do.
Way better scorer.
He's a better.
Way better
Stockton's
scorer.
a better defender.
Better like now. Like if you're comparing him now because he's old and broken down. CP3 was up in your shit back in the day. What do you mean?
I would just go watch those old Dream Team videos and watch the way that those guys talk about Stockton. I mean, they give him his props.
All right, whatever. He's not as skilled as Chris Paul, especially offensively. You could say I don't even think he was a better defender, but maybe he was.
Okay.
CP3 was all up in people's grills though when he was young. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, and he's good.
Best.
I just enjoy writing him down because I just don't really like him.
The Isaiah Thomas one though. So if you go Magic and Isaiah, and CP3 would have to be 3, which him and Kid would be close for me. But yeah, so yeah, I'm putting him ahead of all those old dudes. Sorry, any of the old people in the chat that want to fight me, but I just can't
do you think that Joel Embiid's better than Wilt Chamberlain because he played back then?
Oh man, Wilt was fucking. I mean, the stats that
Wilt
he
would come
put
in
up,
today. He's averaging like 50, 20, 20.
That's the thing,
Wilt
though,
was a
is
cheat code.
Wilt put up the craziest stats like ever. Like it was insane. And people are gonna say Oscar, like Wilt put up stats that are just unheard of.
Yeah.
I
just think
I
think everyone says, "Oh, these guys are so much better." And I'm like, "Well, the best athlete is."
Could you imagine if Wilt had like the Michael Jordan attitude where I'm just gonna murder you on this floor? Like there's nothing
He
you
was
could
too
do about
relaxed.
it.
I mean,
dude, he was hooking up with 3 girls a day.
He said he
How
would
could
play.
he get mad?
He still had a pretty good attitude, Tyler. I mean, he was dropping like 30 and 20. Like
there was
easy,
interviews
like,
where he said like he didn't play hard because he was scared he was gonna hurt people. So like imagine if he just had disregard for everyone else on the floor. It was like I'm gonna score my 100, grab my 50 rebounds, and there's nothing you can do about it every night.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is fun. I just like to stick up for all my old dudes. And I figure
they're in the chat right now. They're in the chat right now.
Yeah. I just once I saw all the copies in your system, I said, "This is the perfect time, right?" I've been biding my time.
This is
to
where
bring
I
all these hot
them.
takes in. Yeah.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar over. Okay, so we're taking the what is he second in the scoring list over
First.
Joel Embiid or first, whatever
Yeah.
it is. Like
Yeah.
LeBron hasn't passed him yet. When
Did
does
you-
LeBron pass him?
Probably next year or the year after.
Okay,
But did
that's
you guys
what it
see
is.
the thing on Twitter? Where it was like the 2001 and 2 Lakers versus the Warriors that had KD. Who would win? Who you taking in that matchup?
I
Wait,
mean,
say
the
that one more
Warriors.
time?
The Warriors with KD when they had their run like 2016,
Yeah.
2017, or the Shaq Kobe Lakers when they had their great
Oh,
run.
the Warriors for sure. Well, it also depends on when you played.
The
Because they still
one
had a
thing
legal
though
defense.
is
I was about to say because if those refs
one
are
thing the Lakers have the one thing that I think the Warriors might not have been able to handle, which is someone like Shaq on the inside. That was like their biggest weakness. It still is their biggest weakness.
These things are so hard because they would draw so many fouls if you tried to make them play today because they weren't allowed to touch their hands. And that'd be what I would say here. Where did he say? Where's Twatty?
I mean, Shaq would have gotten Draymond to foul out in literally a quarter and a half.
He says drop Kevin Durant into a 61 basketball game. Kevin Durant would get so punked physically. Like, I'm sure he'd score a bunch, but I don't think it would be this beautiful brilliance that you expect because the rules were different then. Like, you were allowed to just manhandle people on the perimeter, and we saw what happened when Boston did it. It would be every single night.
Okay,
so it's like...
Okay, hold on. I got to come back to the chat here. We the people. So,
Which
Bill
one?
Russell's greater than Embiid. Okay.
I agree.
Let's just think about this, though, real quick. So Bill Russell's accolades are greater than Joel Embiid because you're fucking no shit. Bill Russell's accolades are amazing. Well, okay. Is Bill Russell more skilled as a player than Joel Embiid? Answer me that, both of you, right now.
There's
skill.
not a chance.
Basketball skill.
I don't think so.
Shut the fuck up, Spread. You just said yes.
I did.
I mean, we watched this guy dominate 3 guys that look like us out on the floor and rebound over it. It's like,
dude, he played against Will Chamberlain.
That was his one good matchup spread. Like outside
Tyler,
of that matchup,
Bob Cousy's up there jumping up and down.
Out there running around? Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Like if there's any of these,
it was like
if Bill Russell played today, he would look like Draymond because he wouldn't be a center.
But spread, okay, wait, wasn't he like because granted,
he only averages like 15 points.
I did not watch many Celtics games back in that era, so I'm not trying to.
I haven't either. Yeah,
I'm not trying to say that I watched. There might be people in this chat that used to watch those games back in that day. I was not one of them, so I'm putting this out there.
I don't think they were even on TV. You would have had to be in Boston.
Yeah. Well, at least I live around here. Wasn't he literally like the best defensive? Like that was like his claim to fame. They
didn't count blocks back then, but if they did, he would have got triple doubles with blocks all the time.
That's what I mean, though. He was known as like the best defensive center like ever, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, until Wilt came along. But
I got a hot take on Bill Russell. You couldn't play him in today's NBA.
He would look exactly like Draymond. He'd be perfect.
I don't think there's a chance.
Tyler, did you hear what I said about all these centers?
Because
I don't think he's
unathletic. I think you guys way overrate how athletic these guys are today. I think you way overrate it.
I'll tell you right now,
in every single generation.
I'll tell you right now, spread. I want to see I wish I could see all those guys back in that day have to guard Joel Embiid out on the perimeter. Have to guard all these guys out on the perimeter.
He would be on injured reserve within 5 games if he had to play against those dudes. Those dudes were actually muscle. They didn't just sit around all day on private jets eating freaking Doritos. They would worked all day like as construction people and then took their construction muscles to the basketball court and got like $25 and a hot dog for playing a game. These were tough dudes. I was going to cut, but I'm not.
I will say the toughness, I don't doubt, but Twatty compared Bill Russell to Clint Capella's got me.
Oh wow,
got me good right now.
Unbelievable.
You're gonna make Spread go nuts. Spread thought I was gonna be.
Well, I had a couple rock stars this morning too, right? So we're about at the same level.
I mean, seriously though, like I just don't get that. You cannot say that the skill of today's players just at a higher level than the skill back in the 70s.
You're right, but also I think that it would have been different if these guys were allowed to run around. For all the
physicality you're adding in, Spread, I think you're discounting and disregarding all the rule changes that have come in the last 10 years to where now, back then, you couldn't play zone defense. All right, KD, walk the ball up the floor, send the 4 guys to the corners, and absolutely torch this guy all game. Steph, do the same thing. Like, could you imagine if they weren't allowed to run a zone
defense? Can you imagine the screens they would run KD through, though? On the offensive end, I don't think he'd be around in the fourth quarter.
That's what they would do.
That's the thing, though. Spread is that now the game is transitioned to this style, though. So a guy like KD doesn't get as affected. You're right, though. If we put KD back then, he would be affected. I get what you're saying, but it's just different. Those guys would be thrown off if they had to play today.
Yep,
correct.
I know. Everyone goes to like Jordan would average 60 in today's game. I think his numbers would still be closer to the same because a lot of them shots he pulled up from the mid-range where he torches his guy and there's no double team there. Well, now there's going to be a guy standing there waiting for him in that zone because they're not just going to let him walk into his spots. So I think he'd have a little bit more trouble today than he did back then.
No.
I just think that
you wouldn't be able to touch him on the perimeter.
He would have gotten so many foul calls.
That's the thing. He would have been a free throw machine. He'd be James Harden.
He would have been at the free throw line, Tyler. Every single game, we'd be sitting there going, "Here we go, Jordan's back at the free throw line again." We're like they can't
would have been more
him, so they're fouling him.
I don't think he would have scored just straight up points, like shooting these mid range jumpers and everything. Like they would have made him do it from the free throw line.
I mean, which he would have done.
He would have did it, but like I'm saying it would have been a little more difficult.
And also, with all these soft-ass AAU attitudes, like Jordan would have even more of an edge.
Yeah, I don't know how much he would have averaged more, but I do think he would average a little more just on the standpoint that
he averaged like 36 points a game, and the team averaged 93 points in the finals.
Yeah, that's insane.
So correlate that to 120. I mean, it's just crazy.
He'd be getting triple doubles too. Because it'd be a lot easier for him to
get those rebounds.
Yeah, and assists. Like he would be able to rack up all that stuff. It'd be so much easier too. But
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that was a fun little trip down memory lane. Do we have any more to talk about of the series that are going on?
Please, no one put any more Hakeem Olajuwon or don't.
Oh yeah, let's not go into centers.
Yeah, we just did.
Save
we went
centers
to Bill
for next
Russell.
I was about to say I got a fun one. Out of all them old big men we talk about, which one transitions best to today's game? Because I think it's the name we keep saying in the chat.
It's Wilt.
I think it's either Wilt or Hakeem, because Hakeem in today's game is just Joel again.
Yeah, but he would have more problems on the perimeter. Wilt was way faster. Like Wilt's out there like winning sprinting competitions.
Yeah, that is true. Wilt would just be Wilt's unstoppable in any era though.
I think he would have been the guy, but yeah.
So. All right, let's talk about the rest of these series. I don't get you tomorrow. I loved Golden State last night. What an easy cash. I'm probably going to go right back to them. I haven't made the bet yet, though. And if you guys make great points, I'm not completely stuck in this position like we the people thinks. Talk to me about the Mavericks and the Warriors. And do you think the Warriors are a smart bet in game 2?
All right. So I do think that I do think one that people are going to overreact to what they saw from the first game, which was Golden State pretty much smacked Dallas in the mouth. I don't know. I think Dallas is still has a really good chance to win this series. I bet them. I'm gonna probably bet. We'll see what happens if they because I already bet them, but we'll see what happens if they lose here. Because if they lose here, maybe that number moves and I can even get a better one. But I still have faith that Dallas can get good looks. And we saw it in the last series, right, Spread, where we sent Dallas
home after 2 games.
Right. And then what happened? Like they go home, they bang some shots, they get hot. It comes on the road too a little bit. They pick up some steam. I would not be shocked because they're going to get good looks, just the way they guard Luka. What was interesting to me was 2 things about this series that I was stunned at. One, Kevon Looney was a major factor, and they played him a lot. That was one thing I was stunned at. And 2,
I wasn't. I think that was genius. We talked about that. Actually, I got that one right. I told you. I said to Tyler, Phoenix was stupid for not attacking the fact that you got Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber, who are power forwards, and then you don't have any rim protection. Phoenix was stupid, and I think that was something eternal with DeAndre Ayton.
Tried to pack.
I think that DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul got into fisticuffs, or like DeAndre Ayton tried to hit on his wife or something because they didn't take advantage of the free money.
I'm telling you right now, Ayton tried to take advantage, and he just was too soft.
With the fact that Kevon Looney can do it.
Gone? I think he's gone. I think he's going somewhere else.
He's gone.
I mean, someone's going to give him a max deal. It don't matter. If the Suns don't, he's definitely gone.
Welcome to Chicago, buddy. You're taking Zach LaVine's spot.
Oh, really? Is it Chicago? So Vucevic gone. They just bring him in?
Yep, they're bringing him in.
Charlotte.
Interesting. Charlotte, that'd be interesting. I would like him on Charlotte.
I seen a sign and trade hypothetical deal on Twitter. Ayton and Bridges for Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby.
Toronto doesn't care about centers. Nick Nurse hates centers. What does Boucher have to do to get minutes?
If Phoenix was able to get those 2, that would be perfect.
Boucher.
Yeah.
He hates Boucher.
Yeah, there's no way he takes Ayton.
You better relax. Listen, it's not about being on Luka's nuts. That has nothing to do with it. It's not being on Luka's nuts when you watch the games and you can just see that Dallas couldn't hit a 3 in the first half. Literally wide open threes. They couldn't hit them. Reggie Bullock was just bricking wide open threes. Jalen Brunson, wide open threes. DFS, they couldn't hit those shots. But if you get them, well, this is a series. It's not 2 games and done. If it was 2 games and done, I'd bet Golden State. I'm betting that through the course of a series, Dallas is going to start to make those open shots.
That's why I love Dallas in game 3.
And then what will that do? Exactly what it did in the Phoenix series. Open up Luka to have better looks. Because once those guys start hitting shots, now Golden State has to respect those guys more. And then once they start respecting them more, they have to let Luka off a little bit. They have to start guarding him a little more honestly. And that's going to lead to Luka going off. So it's not about being on Luka's nuts. It's about what Luka does to the others to get them open looks. The other thing they did not use was the pick and roll, which I thought was there for a lot of the first half when Dwight Powell was in the game. They threw one lob up to him, and Golden State was committing to hedging out on Luka. They were giving him that pass. He was refusing to take that pass, though, for whatever reason. I'm assuming they see that in tape. They change that up, at least when Dwight Powell's in the game, because it's there. It's open if they want it. Kevon Looney's too slow when they come up on that screening roll. He's too slow on the way back. They can get them there. So I think there's ways where Dallas can be very effective against Golden State. And we'll see if through a series, Golden State, can keep up the offense and everything.
They didn't shoot that well from three either, though. It's not like they were. Yeah.
They didn't.
I mean, they have room for improvement as well.
Did you think Draymond was going to play Brunson too? Because I thought that was interesting.
No, but I was about to say that. Our guy on Privileged Productions in here says Brunson's the X factor. I completely agree. When he goes 0 from 5 from 3, that leaves Draymond. He's playing free safety. Yep. He just left.
I mean, bro, they're playing a box and one in the NBA.
Yeah, Nurse used it against the Warriors.
I know.
Ago, and it's been a rage ever since.
I know, but I'm saying though, like, you have to abuse this team when they play a fucking box and one. Like but if you're not hitting shots, then why wouldn't
that's how it's going to be betting on these Dallas games the whole time. I honestly, no matter what they put the line at, it feels like it's pick the winner because they're either going to kick the other teams, or
I agree, Spread. You're right about that
because
actually.
once they get and it would have can change the complexion of that game if those shots are falling. Why? Because the Warriors would have been able to take the ball out normally.
Were you stunned when they were only down 10 at half? Because I was stunned. Anyone who was watching that game at halftime
didn't shoot that well either.
But that's my point, though. Anyone who was watching that game at halftime should have been like, "How is Dallas even in this? Like, they shouldn't even be in this game right now. They're still here."
Yeah, if it was like less than 5, I would have been worried about my Warriors bet. But it felt like that.
It felt like they had it
so strong, and
felt like they.
I really think that the Warriors have the most underrated defense in the league. I mean, it's so funny. They're up there statistically too. It's not like I'm saying that this team off pedigree. Like statistically, they're up there too. And everyone said the Phoenix defense, and I was there. I'm not trying to say I told you guys that the Phoenix defense was overrated because I didn't, but I think the Warriors defense is just as good, if not better.
I think Lucas sent those Phoenix defenders into the grave. I think he picked the shovel up, he dug the hole, let them fall in there, and then he closed it back up. Like, he just owned them.
Is he going to be able to do that to Golden State? Because I think the Golden State's got two guys that are better than Miles Bridges and Jay Crowder and Draymond Green and Andrew Wiggins. And I think they got less guys to pick on. I know they're going to try and target Steph, but here's the thing. When you target Luka, he gets tired.
You think Wiggins is better like on-ball defender than what the Suns was throwing at him?
I don't think he is for the whole NBA, but I think for this particular matchup where Luka's 6'8" or 6'9" and Bridges is 6'7", then yeah, because anyone under 6'7", Bridges is better. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But when you need that size, now Wiggins is a better for this individual matchup.
Okay, interesting.
So that's just how I say it. And it's not that far, right? I mean, for example, if you switch out Andrew Wiggins and Mikal Bridges, I'm taking the Warriors still tonight, right? So I mean, I don't think it's really that far apart either. So this is going to be a lot of fun, though, JSU. I'm glad you came on today. Is there anything else we need to debate before we give out some winners?
No, I mean that was.
Because at this
rate, I gotta be back on
and
I got to be back on in like two or 3 hours anyways for the
How
Showdown
about this?
show.
Do me a favor, right? Instead of talking about Holden's sex life for the first 10 minutes, can you guys do some CP3 and Bill Russell debates here to start the show? Let's throw this off. We don't need to hear about people on their knees in the shower the second I log on or grabbing someone's dick if they lose the DFS contest. Every time I turn it on, I'm like,
I'm going to let them
I
know.
even try and time it for 10 minutes late. So I don't have to hear it's like, I swear, you guys are like the sharpest NBA show for 50 minutes. But the first 10 minutes, I'll be old here. But you guys remember Don and Mike, the old AM radio show? That's what you guys remind me of. Just a bunch of craziness.
So Spread, I can guarantee you, me and Tyler have no idea who Don and Mike are.
You're talking AM radio.
Yeah, I was like trying to think of like who would be better. I
looked at Tyler. I could see Tyler's face when you said Don and Mike, and I'm like,
Miles Davis is.
I know.
All I remember.
I know right away. Tyler has no idea what he's talking about, and neither do I. Like, I'm like,
do you know who Miles Davis is at least?
Yeah, I do.
Even the guys in the chat, Kegs in the chat, AM radio spread.
Hey, I've always been old.
I mean, shit, he made us talk about Bill Russell as well. Like, I mean, come on. Like,
hey, the NBA rundown, this spans 5 decades, right? Other shows might just break down the game. We're giving you a comprehensive NBA coverage here. So, all right. So I'll make that request. I don't expect it to be, but I'll tell you what, if I tune in and you guys are debating Bill Russell versus Joel Embiid, I'm going to, Birdman.
I'll tell you right now, though, Spread, man, it's the odds are low because there's been a lot of dong talk recently.
Oh, it's crazy.
Of the show,
it's crazy. I mean, the only thing that get interrupted is if K Powell shows up in a mask.
So now Big T's even doing it. Like, I'm like, dude, you're fucking this whole thing up.
I mean, the only way to stop it is showing up in a mask. Otherwise, it's just dong talk for the first 10 minutes.
I mean, showing up in a mask in your own friggin' house, like that is just.
I thought he was joking at first, and then I found out
I thought he was 100% joking.
I was like, he showed up serious.
And then when he showed up on the secondary workbench, I'm like, damn, you can't even be in your own workbench. Like, that's a tough scene right there.
With the hippie, I used to run with them. Steve. I had some great times. Don't remember a lot of them, but it was great. All right, let's go and give out some winners. I think we'll be opposite here, but we only have one game. It's just fair to take whatever you want. Start with you, JSU. Give me your winner for tonight.
I mean, the winner's the Celtics. I'm going with the Celtics. I'm riding with them. They're winning this series, and I don't worry about the bump. The one little bump in the road that game one where the Celtics outplayed them for a half, and then the Heat outplayed them for the second half. Like, these are two, I think, very well-matched teams. I just think Boston is a little better, and Marcus Smart and Al Horford being back is huge for Boston. So,
JSU, if you're afraid of getting attacked at your coffee shop that you get your donuts from betting against the Boston guys, just blink twice, and we'll all know that you're really down for our guy Jimmy Buckets.
No, I'm never
going
afraid.
Against Jimmy Buckets. I can't believe it.
You know I love Jimmy Buckets too, but
I'm trying to think of, this would be like me picking against Giannis, which I think happened like one time this year.
I'm just saying though, like, you guys know I'm not like a homer. I'm not like a homer because of the Celtics.
You made a couple of comments and look what happened to the chat.
Man.
Oh, we got from the dog comments.
All right,
That's
yeah.
what it was.
.xyz. Let us know who's better, Bill Russell or CP3. Throw that in the chat. Tyler,
what the fuck, Holden's burner?
Yeah, I'm right with JSU. Though. Give me Boston money line. I think they're plus 105 right now. I think Horford comes back and has a solid game. Give me that.
That's moved, huh?
Yeah, it's moving down.
110 like an hour ago.
Yep. And then looking at these performance doubles, give me Al Horford 2+ threes and Boston wins 3-1.
All right. You think he's going to get the team sick and drain some threes. All right. So here's what I'm going to do, right? Because I'm a little worried about your guys' first bet, right? But I want to make sure you cash a winner with me, JSU, so we can celebrate next week. So instead of taking the Heat, everybody knows I'm on the Heat. But instead of taking them, I'm going to give out your guy. So you got to join me, Jimmy Butler, over 30.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Because he's going to get the usage. Let's say they double him. The assists go up. If they don't double him, he's going to just continue to abuse whoever's on him. I think he's just that good. And I know that, right, I don't know if he scores 40 points again, but this is points, rebounds, and assists over 38. I can get there multiple ways.
Spread, I really don't think they double. The only way they double Jimmy is when they doubled Giannis. And if you remember, the only times they really doubled Giannis was when one of Grant, Al, or Smart wasn't covering him. So if Giannis got stuck on like Derek White, they might throw the double.
But that's why I like doing this PRA. I just feel like I have
I like it
just say
because you got
Udoka
more
says-
outs. You
Yeah,
got
and
more
Udoka-
outs too.
Let's say he says that there's no way they'll expect this for the reason that you said. I mean, maybe it becomes. I think that I just think Spoelstra's really good. I'm not trying to downgrade Udoka at all. When I was talking about the coaching disadvantage, I was trying to bring up.
No, I agree.
bring up our
I
guy,
think
Eric.
Spoelstra's really good too.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean-
that's why the Heat is the number 1 seed. I think it
Even though, like you said, they probably have less talent,
Spoelstra.
but I still think they have a better bench, and I think that's where we disagree.
what because Tyler Hero and Caleb Martin, those guys, you just think they're that
Tyler
much
Hero's
better?
one of the best scorers in the league. Caleb
By the
Martin does
way-
exactly what you ask.
By the way, did anyone know that Aaron Nesmith could like jump out of the gym?
He's getting more minutes tonight. I'd bet that. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get more minutes than Pritchard because
Good.
I wouldn't be surprised
love
if he
it. I
took
love it.
Thies's minutes, and Thies
Thies shouldn't
didn't
get
play
any
really
minutes.
at all.
shouldn't
Well,
get any
all
minutes.
those minutes are going to Horford.
Did you see? That's what I mean. Did you see they were trying to hide Thies on someone else and not put him on Bam when he was out there?
Of course.
So like they didn't even want Thies on.
They
for
didn't
the-
want to play him. That he's break glass
Yeah.
in case of emergency, and they had to break the glass.
That's what I'm saying though. I think he might be the odd guy out of the rotation.
I would
Aaron
completely agree with
Nesmith
you.
might
You want
be
to take him
in.
out of your player pool tonight? I'll be clicking right with
Might
you. I don't
fucking
think.
take his ass out.
Yeah, I don't care
Yeah.
what they project him for. That they can.
I don't
project him
even
for
think.
40.
I honestly don't think he might not play because unless someone gets hurt, like unless Al Horford or Rob Williams, unless one of those guys gets hurt or is limited. But if Al Horford's good to go and Rob's good to go, then
Right.
if anything,
That's your
why
ideal
is Thies?
situation.
Yeah, why is Thies on the floor like
He
almost
shouldn't be.
ever?
No, he's an emergency player. Just
So-
like I almost
so-
think Pritchard should be an emergency player.
So do we think that the Celtics run out a 7-man rotation? Because there's no White. So that takes one dude out.
No, because they'll
Pritchard-
run Pritchard, Nesmith, Grant
That's-
Williams.
No.
Yeah,
wait.
I think they go 8. Pritchard sees some minutes, but I think Nesmith sees more minutes than Pritchard tonight.
Okay. Pritchard.
Because
So,
Grant Williams isn't in the starting lineup now, right? With Smart back? Or
Yeah,
is?
it'll be.
oh yeah, because Smart,
Two
Horford,
guys in there.
Bob. Yeah. So 8. So
I
yeah,
would think
Thies is
eight.
out of the rotation. I'm.
should be.
Yeah,
He should be.
he's out.
So
Line just moved again down to even money.
Boston's
Really?
taking that much money?
Yep.
I saw it at
fade the
1.5.
public, Let's go.
It's still at 1.5 on DK. If anyone,
I get to bump me against the world as soon as we're off the show. The whole world's going to be on Boston. Probably be Boston -3 by the time this thing closes. You guys, they keep listening to you, JSU, and not me. Everyone's listening to the show and say,
Hopefully
Fred
they
doesn't know what
got it
he's
when they
talking
were
about.
plus
Yeah.
money because they're about to be friggin' not plus money in a little bit.
Yeah,
Can
but
you
this is
imagine all
basically
these
minus
guys
one
betting on the
across the board.
Celtics after you slandered Bill Russell like that? Unbelievable.
I did not slander him. I gave him a ceremonial. He was the best defender of his error, maybe ever.
Exactly, yeah.
Defensively.
Yeah.
What more do you want? God, could you imagine if I was like Draymond Green's a better defender than Bill Russell? Everyone would just freak out. All
I'll
the
bet
old
you there's
people-
people on those ESPN shows that would say that.
There's
All
people
the
out
old
spread.
people
There's
would just
people out
go
spreads way
nuts.
that think that. I'd say.
Yeah.
Oh, out in Northern California? Yeah, for sure. But you got to remember, Bill Russell went to the University of San Francisco.
Yeah,
so,
I just thought about that. Yeah,
yeah,
he's
so
one of
we
those
love
guys
him out here too. And I'll bet you I'm one of the few people who actually knew where Bill Russell went to college.
I was
feel
gonna
so
say,
old.
Spread,
You
you
watched
pulled
his
that
college
one.
games.
You pulled that one right out. Like, did you go to any games? Like, were you...
Fred was scouting them back then.
Yeah, I used to go to the games until Will Chamberlain took all my dates, and then I stopped going. All right, guys. Well, that's it for us because you're gonna do the parlay in the Discord tonight, right, Tyler?
Yep, I'll make one
All
for
right.
this group.
Yesterday, I gave some words of wisdom to eat healthy and get a good night's sleep. Do you have some words of wisdom for us, JSU, before you get out of here? And of course, let them know all the content you're doing.
No words of wisdom. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Just root on
Drink
the
5
C's
coffee
tonight.
before the show. Who cares?
Root on the C's tonight and collect your money after.
Oh,
That's what we're
man.
doing tonight, baby.
You're
We're
getting
rooting
free
on the
coffee if the
C's and we're
Celtics win or
collecting the
something.
money. That's it. After that, you can do
Unbelievable.
whatever you want. You can go out, you
Unbelievable.
can get hammered. I don't give a shit. Winning money.
All right, where are you going to be on this week? What are you doing?
Yeah, so we'll be on the Showdown show. Me and Big T, Holden 7:15 tonight, and we'll break this game down from the Showdown side for DraftKings and FanDuel, and then we'll be back again what's today? Thursday. We're back again tomorrow. Same thing. We're gonna be doing that pretty much for every Showdown slate. We're gonna have.
How does it work
Showdown
on the
show,
weekend? Are you guys gonna wait, or are you gonna put?
We're
it on
gonna
the morning?
record a video for the days each day. So,
But it's not gonna
we'll
be
be
live,
on.
so I can't heckle you in the chat.
No, it might be live. Some of them might be live. Some of them might be pre-recorded. Just depends on what we're doing. But we'll let you guys know. But it'll be a video either way. But it'll be live, I'm sure, sometimes.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you for coming on today. Definitely one of the best shows I think that we've ever done here. So I appreciate you coming on. Reminder, if you are not able, you want that Showdown lineup, jump on runpuresports.com, use that promo code GETBETS to become a member.
I will just say, Spread, before you get off, I see someone give me a Showdown lineup. Not giving you a Showdown lineup. You should sign up and watch the show later if you're not signed up. But if you are playing Showdown tonight, I definitely think you should go right back to a similar idea of like minimal heat, more Celtics, 4-2, 5-1 builds, and Jimmy Butler's just going to be very popular in the captain. I can't hate it, but if you make a 5-1 build with Jimmy Butler as your captain, that's not probably going to be unique. If you're making 5-1 builds, you should
5 Celtics, 1 Heat with Jimmy Butler as the captain is not going to be unique.
I don't think so because
thanks for telling me that because I was going to do that.
I really don't think so, Spread, because I think that's the way my team was unique. So I had a main team, and it was Tatum as my captain in a 5-1 build with Butler.
And in the first half, you're ready to ship another 100K.
The game was going perfectly in the first half. Honestly, still, and my team was good. I still made a good chunk of money. But when Jimmy Butler went that crazy in the second half and Tatum did nothing, it killed me that Tatum didn't do shit in the second half. But my point is, you should be trying to build unique teams in Showdown. You shouldn't be trying to build teams that are obvious.
I made that mistake.
Yeah,
I was making it like 47K to 50K
in the last Showdown
on the
JSU. Didn't like the top place split 150 ways.
Yeah,
where the guys at the top lost money.
Yeah, in the main DK contest where it was $20 to enter, they split it so many ways and there was 150K up top that everyone made $857.
Wow.
And again, it's great to have the winner. That was the optimal team.
But most of those people put more than one lineup in.
Yeah, they said a lot of those people were max 150, so they got screwed.
Didn't win a ton of money, which is fine. But I'm talking to the people who aren't 150, and I'm talking to the people that put one lineup in that, who put 3 lineups in it, who are the majority of the people probably listening right now, right? Because the majority of people listening, they're probably not putting in 150 lineups. Even if you're putting in 5 or 10, you should never be putting in that lineup. Just you shouldn't.
On Sabre, what's the lowest I can put to leave money on the table? Because I did 47 the first time, 47 to 50K, and that was stupid.
I would bump.
Do I drop it down to 35, 41? I'm making 20 lineups.
Okay, so you're saying your max salary?
What should my min salary be?
Oh, your min salary. 20
Because when
lineups?
I ran it with 47, every lineup was exactly the same. After I had my adjustments. To be fair, I adjust pretty heavy.
I have a question. Where do you let it go to? What's your max salary?
50.
See, okay, this is where we differ. I would never leave it at 50.
Oh, really? What do I drop it down to?
I would drop it because the average, everyone the most lineups in a lot of things, for certain sports, when I am a me, for golf today, I am a mead, and I didn't have any lineups that left $300 or less on the table. Every lineup left at least $400 in that Millie Maker or more, because majority of lineups, on average, the most leave $300. I think the second's $100 or something like that. So because you don't want duped teams, you know what I mean? So when you're talking any of these sports, you're trying not to make teams that are going to be duped. You want it to be as least duped as possible when you're making Showdown lineups, meaning you don't want to split with a ton of people, right, Spread? If you leave that thing at even, it's going to give you the optimal teams first, right?
Yeah.
If you're playing 150 teams, then you should do that, right? You should
Right.
take some of those good teams because you have 150. But if you're playing 3, 5, 10, maybe even 20, you should probably take that number down a couple $100 because everyone's just leaving that at 50K when they run it. Everyone's going to leave put it to 4,700 though. So maybe some of those builds hit, but they're not going to hit over a lot of those builds with 50K. That's the point. So you drop that
Dude,
number
that's
down.
a gem. And half the people dropped off when I went into the final spiel that I always do. You know, when they hear me going into promo mode, half the people dropped off. So the people that stuck with us, I never thought of that. That's fantastic. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm definitely working that in tonight. So that's really cool.
Yeah, you should definitely, if you're making showdown lineups, we always talk about finding ways to be unique.
Yeah.
That when
that's
if you're
great.
using an optimizer, you gotta do it, man. You gotta change those settings, right? Because
Yeah.
everyone's just clicking that thing and running it. And if you have 150, it don't matter because you're gonna get some of those top optimal builds, and then you're gonna get some unique ones
Right.
in between. But if you're just playing 5 teams, you better play 5 damn unique teams in that $20 with 100K up top. Because there's
Yeah.
no reason why you should play an optimal build like if you got 5 teams. There's
All right. That's great knowledge. We're not going to do anything better than that. So thank you very much for sharing. I'll be changing that on my thing tonight for more great, information like that. Of course, become a member of runpuresports.com. Use that promo code GetBets. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time. We will have AP on, and we'll get his question. We'll make sure we find out who he thinks is better. Jason Kidd or Chris Paul. Thank you everyone for joining us. Lively chat today. We appreciate it.